Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come in, come in, come in. This is Tamika's Den. I am Tamika. Get on in here, y'all. Get on in here. Kick off your shoes and relax your feet. You are now in the den. So, baby, this is my review recap for House of the Dragon, Season 1, Episode 8. Whoo, child, this was a good episode, y'all. This was a good episode. I liked it. I liked it. I liked it, okay? This was giving me every different kind of emotion, had me going through every different kind of emotion from beginning to end. I have to say that this cast did an excellent job. They did an excellent job just portraying the story and all the different emotions. And the executions was on point, okay? I was a little nervous because these time jumps been doing it, honey, all right? So I didn't know what to expect, okay? And it didn't hurt that I was actually able to watch this episode this week without any issues. If you watched my review last week, you know that I had a time, child, okay? But I was able to go ahead and get through this, from beginning to end. And was it a lot packed up in here. So let's just go ahead and get right into it. We start out this episode and we find out that Rhaenys has not seen Corlys in freaking 6 years, okay? 6 years, sis. I had to go to 6 years without your man. He been out here and she want to know what the heck is going on, and now she's having this bad news brought to us. She must know, will he live? And, they basically are saying that Master Kelvin, has led the sailors into a daggone ambush, all right? And the ship must have looked as if it was abandoned or whatever have you, but come to find out it wasn't, and they were fighting, and, Corlys ends up getting freaking slashed in the neck and was found overboard in the sea, child. I said no, and this wound seems to be very severe. He lost a lot of blood. It's a great concern and whatever the case may be. And so, the ship's master says he burns within. And so this is not a good sign, okay? Oh, my poor girl, Rhaenys, she done been through it, all right? And so, of course, her and Bella are looking at each other. She has Bella there with her. Bella is looking beautiful as ever, honey, growing into a beautiful young woman. And so, she was asking how they got this message, and they said, came from the Ravens, right? And Kelvin, Evanfall, princess or whatever, right? And so she knows that this is severe and this is, must be some real facts if it's, came in this way. But now we see Vaemond talking or whatever, right? And we know she ain't trusting him and I ain't trusting his behind either, all right? And so basically he don't wait 2 seconds before she's Bella is saying to her that the sea snake is strong, and Vaemond want to come and talk about some. No doubt he is, but of course we have to know what is going on with this throne. He was like, he never seen blood fever become men half his age, so he don't see him making it, is basically what he's saying, right? And so now we want to get down to business and we want to know what is going to happen, with Driftmark. And she's like, look, I don't need no crows coming to my house, all right? And my man ain't even get here. And he talking about something, I love my brother. God knows I do, okay? But he was like, we have to be honest with ourselves. More than likely, by the time he even get back, he will probably be gone. We may be going out there to greet his damn corpse, okay? So he was like, we have to know who is going to take Driftmark. And, she's basically saying, he already made his decisions as to what was going to happen, right? And Bella is saying, my grandmother is quite comfortable here, okay? She been holding it down all this time. And he was like, yeah, she presides only in the absence of her husband, all right? But of course, if he is dead, then that is a different story, when he passes, that's it. And so she was like, well, when he passes, then it would go to Luke as my Lord husband desired, all right? And so, of course, Vaemond makes his freaking opinion known and was like, no, it's supposed to be the closest kin, and I'm the closest kin. So Rhaenyra tell him, be careful, good brother, okay? Be careful, because that what you talking right now, honey, if you keep going on, one could take your words as treason, and he want to sit here and walk up on her like he about to do something. I said, Vayman, what you trying to do? What are you trying to do, boo? And, he talking about something, I speak the truth, Rainies, or whatever the case may be, and what I'm saying, it goes by blood, and I am the blood. And she says, well, the matter has been decided. And he was like, look, the matter can't be decided by somebody that's brought down on us on, calamity after calamity. Now, at the end of the day, like I said, we know how he feels already. This is not a shock that he's saying, any of this. He says, my brother only cares, about the history books. I don't care about history books. I care about blood and what is to become of the Valerian line, point blank, period, And so, basically, of course, he sees it to be him that should be having this seat, right? And he basically was saying how, Driftmark is his by all rights. And, he would like her support. And so he says he do not need it, but he asking for it anyway. And she just tells him like the winds have shifted or whatever, right? And he was like saying, oh, well, the crown, because she said, my cousin would have your tongue for this. And he was like, well, lately your cousin ain't the one that's been in charge, honey, okay? Some things have changed over there just the same way some things have changed over here. So I said, okay, Raymond, you getting cute. You talking a lot of stuff, boo. You talking a whole lot of stuff. So he was telling her, like, it's not the king that's been sitting on the crown these days, baby. You better go ahead and check and see what's going on. It's the queen. So I said, what they got going on over there then? We need to check in and see what is happening with Verses. Okay, King Verses, King V, what is going on? What's happening, boo? Because we know you've been on your last leg for I don't know how daggone long, poor King V. And so, we basically get to where we seeing it go across this water or whatever. And of course, we seeing this big, mountain. And I think we was at Dragonstone at this point. And we see Daemon go and get this daggone dragon egg. And we find out that, Cersei has had 3 eggs or whatever. And he's telling them to go ahead and put that up and, get it heated or whatever. And they're bringing him a message from Baela. Okay, Baela ain't wasting no time. She letting him know about what is happening with King V. And the fact that, now Luke is being questioned, and Vaemon basically want to take this over for himself. And again, nobody is shocked. They know how he gets down. They know he's never liked Daemon, and they know that he don't like Rhaenyra or her kids, or believe that those is daggone Laenor's kids at the end of the day, right? And on top of that, Rhaenyra believes that they had something to do with Laenor's death. So they was basically saying, at least she took Baela underneath her wing, and she was saying like, do you think she would support our side or whatever the case may be, right? And so, Jace was down here studying. He going mad hard. He don't want to get not one daggone thing wrong, okay? And Rhaenyra was saying, you ain't got to learn all of this in one day. You ain't got to be so daggone hard on yourself. It takes time. Nobody learns this in one day. It's a process. But Jace was really going hard. He didn't want to stop. He kept saying, no, let's continue. And, trying to do it again and again because he was getting one of the words wrong. Rhaenyra was correcting him, and he just kept repeating it over and over and over. And so she was like, this already, Jace, or whatever, right? But at the same time, telling him, like, this is a process. You're not going to learn it all overnight. And, he was just being more hard on himself than anybody else. She was saying, maybe we should hold off with this practicing and you could take a break. He like, nah, I'm going to get this together today, okay? So, in the midst of him practicing, this is when Daemon comes in and lets her see, the message that Baela has sent or whatever. And she, says to Jason, his instructor, like, can y'all excuse us or whatever, right? And so, they step out the room for a minute so her and Daemon could go ahead and talk. And we see that Rhaenyra is pregnant, honey, okay? And then she got a whole nother little boy over there on the side. So I was looking like, okay, wait a minute, how many more kids did they have? Okay, we would like to know. Inquiring minds would like to know. But, it was Joffrey in there with, Jace when, they went to go out, which Joffrey was the last baby that she had right before, we last saw her when Queen Alicent was making her come up all them damn stairs. And so basically, she was like, this means they are questioning Luke's legitimacy, right? And she was like, by extension, Jace too. So she was like, and my claim to the throne. Venmont only cares about Driftmark. And he was like, of course, he's not going to care about our politics or whatever, right? And of course, he's going to have a common cause with damn Otto Hightower or whatever, right? And so, he was saying whatever disagreements he have, that they still have to have her back. And she was like, disagreements, let's not kid ourselves. We know that this goes way further than disagreements, and that she basically thinks that we killed damn Lanar. So, how much is she possibly going to want to help? She thinks that basically we, had something to do with that so that we can marry fast. So she was like, she's only taking Baylor on behalf of Layla. Y'all know what I mean. So basically, she was like, and they don't know what's going on with her father because they done been over here, pretty much living their own lives. So Damon was like, well, then I think we have to, be off to King's Landing so we could see what's going down, okay, what's really happening. So basically, they go ahead and they get to King's Landing. Of course, they get the guard coming out to meet them or whatever, right? And, he tells them to come on in and get comfortable or whatever, right? Allison and them is over here in a meeting, so they don't come out to meet them. He lets them know that their guests have arrived. And, of course, Allison and Otto is just running everything. This is freaking Otto's dream damn come true, okay? And they get to start talking about how they know that they are here, because of the whole situation with Driftmark. And they're saying, well, didn't Corley's already basically say what he want? And they was like, yeah, but a little boy can't run, Driftmark right now, whatever the case may be, it wouldn't make sense. And so when Allison was going to go to meet Rhaenyra and Daemon, Sir Eric comes and he have to correct her and let her know what his damn name was because apparently she didn't know. And he tells her it's a delicate situation going on. So she was like, well, it's going to have to wait. And he was like, no, I think you want to go and see about this, okay, because something's going to happen with your son, the prince, okay, at his apartment. In the meantime, Daemon had me cracking up because he was giving everybody the side eye and trying to see, what is going on. And when she walked in, all of a sudden now, we got a lot of stuff changed. We got those star symbols going on, okay, from Miss Allison, girl. She done redecorated. And Rhaenyra was saying how she could barely recognize the place, even though this is supposed to be home, it looks completely different. And so, we have Rhaenyra go up and see her father. Child, when they walk in, right, of course we see the, the little miniature statue thing that the king was always working on through the years, and it was getting bigger and bigger, showing all the houses and all of that stuff. And we see that these incense is burning all around, okay? And she goes over to the bed, baby. And Viserys, Lord, just when I thought he couldn't look no worse, it was like he just was literally the Walking Dead laying there. His body is literally decaying. Pieces of his flesh is missing. His whole side of his face is missing. We know he lost the fingers. He lost the freaking arm. Poor Viserys, he just looks so beat up and so horrible. He barely freaking breathing right, He's confused. He didn't even know who Rhaenyra was when she first walked over to the bed. She trying to let him know that, it's her. And, even when Daemon comes, he's not recognizing him. And you can see the hurt in Daemon's face. Like, this was really, a surprise to them to see him in this type of condition or whatever, right? And he kept saying Daemon, 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 like being confused. And so when they're telling him, like, yeah, Corlys was fighting in the Stepstones, he's like, nah, that was 4 years ago. We already took care of that, because Daemon is still trying to get to business and tell him what's going on. Rhaenyra, he was telling her to help him up. And he's struggling just to try to sit up for a little bit or whatever, right? And his breath is all labored or whatever the case would be. I said, oh, poor king. That was actually making me feel bad. Yeah, I'm not even gonna lie. So Daemon, he was saying to him, like, it's been so long or whatever, right? Too daggone long. And he starts to let him know about the sea snake and the grave wound that he took in the battle on the stepstones. So, Viserys is still stuck in the daggone past. He's basically like, oh no, when we won that war years ago. So he was like, no, this is something new, okay, that just arose. Okay, this is resurgent. And this is a fight in a new. So he was basically like, there's a petition to sign the secession of Driftmark, to decide the secession of Driftmark. Yeah, I'm sorry, I be getting tongue tied with these words. So he was like, well, that's already been taken care of or whatever. And he says, Otto and, Alicent basically have been taking care of all of that kind of stuff. And so Daemon is letting him know, like, nah, this ain't nothing for no Alicent and Otto, okay? This is for you to go ahead and take care of. We need you to basically pretty much, say what's what and affirm your position for Luke or whatever the case may be, to be Corley's, successor. And so Varys was basically saying, like, this Corlys has something to say. But Rhaenyra at this point kind of holds Daemon back and was like, we want to introduce you to somebody. And he's like, who's that? So we see her bring over 2 new little babies, okay, y'all. Aegon, I believe she said. I said another daggone Aegon, okay? And then Verses, she done named the other baby after him. So that kind of made him smile a little bit. And he looking at him. And he basically like, oh, Verses, that's the name of a king, if I may say so myself. So I was like, oh, And listen, King Verses done lived way longer than I thought he would. He done got to see all his daggone grandkids, okay? Because I ain't even think it was going to be possible. But it's something inside this man that just keeps him freaking, ticking. But then he start choking and he start asking for this tea. And, they go ahead and give it to him and he take a sip and he talking about, yeah, that's better. And then we see Daemon pick up that cup, honey, and was like, wait, what's going on here, right? What is going on here? And so, then he starts getting tired and he's saying, I'm so sorry, or whatever the case may be. And so, they want to go ahead and kind of get out of his way or whatever for a minute and let him rest. And I was just like, what's in that cup, Daemon? Because I know you smelled it and I know you know what's what. So now we get to Alicent. She over here and we seeing this girl just crying, hysterical. She can't even hardly talk. Alicent want to pull her in and talk about come here and give her a hug or whatever. And then tell me your name. And she says her name is Diana. She was like, oh, well, what a beautiful name. You know what I'm saying? That is Miss Diana. Nice to meet you. And so she's like, well, what exactly happened? What is going on, And she begins to tell her that she was bringing in lunch and she didn't see the prince. All of a sudden, he was standing behind her. And she basically was like, he grabbed her and, basically assaulted her or whatever. She was fetching his wine and he came up from behind her or whatever, right? And so here goes daggone Alicent. Oh, calm down. I believe you. And she was like, you do? She's like, yeah, of course I do or whatever, right? But I don't know what other people would believe. And she's like, oh, no. Or if you've been talking about it to a whole bunch of people or whatever. And she's like, no, I didn't tell no whole bunch of people. I didn't tell anybody. She said, well, you already told Sir Eric. You told me. And I forgot, it must have been one of the other handmaids or whatever. You told them too. So now that's already 3 people. And she said, the more, words get around, people may not look at you in the same way. You know how some people could basically say that this is your fault and that you caused it and you asked for it and you was in the room with him. I said, Alicent, are you doing what I'm thinking you doing? Because if you are, you done sunk even damn lower than what the hell you used to be. Oh, we don't know what others is going to believe in. You were alone with the prince, were you not? And so at this point, the poor girl's over here stammering. And she's like, I haven't told anybody else, about what happened. And nobody else needs to hear this or whatever. So she was basically like, telling her like, I'm not going to blame you, but others might not be so trusting. And she just was like, you wouldn't want to be trying to besmirch the prince and all this bull crap, right? And that you could have enticed him in the first place. I said, you know what, Alicent, you belong in the damn pits of hell. And especially for you to be a damn woman yourself. She talking about, I wouldn't never breathe another word of it to anyone else. I swear on my life, that's what Diana ends up saying to her. So she gonna talk about some, good. I believe you. I know you won't, and give her some damn change. I said, girl, bye. You freaking, Allison, this is the part of you that I can't stand. Are such the freaking hypocrite. You turn your nose up and talk about Rhaenyra and her kids and, you know what I'm saying, throw all these different types of stones. You giving this girl change, talking about for your troubles, for her being freaking assaulted by your raggedy behind son. And then they gonna bring her some tea in right behind for her to drink or whatever. So you covering up God knows how many different people that he's doing this to, and yet you don't see him or call him out for him being the disgusting demon that he is being, but you would turn your nose up at everybody else to call them out on theirs, girl. And you want to talk about some religion and beliefs and having high morals. Like, if you don't get your behind out of here, that was so freaking disgusting. Oh Lord, child, that pissed me off. And so, after she finished dealing with this situation, she finally walks over to Rhaenyra Daemon, where they at in this room or whatever, and say hi to them. And of course, it was just, no, I'm sorry. Before she even do that, she wake her raggedy son up, and he talking about, oh, what's wrong, what happened, and covering himself back up or whatever. She trying to wake him up, and she was like, I don't need this mess. You out here doing all these different things or whatever the case may be. It's always a problem because he's talking about what is it, and she was like, what is it? She was like, that's all you could say for yourself. He talking about something happened. She was like, Diana, he gonna be like, oh, that was just a little bit of fun. She was like, he says, oh, she just got sensitive about it or whatever. It was harmless fun. And so she's telling him like she don't need this today of all days. And he was like, what's so special about today? She slapped the mess out of him, which I'm sure that's probably a regular damn thing that she do every daggone minute with him. And basically she gonna turn and be like, you're not my son. You're no son of mine. Yes, he is, Allison. He is very much your son. You helped create the damn demon that he is, oh girl. Okay, girl. So sit with that and stop trying to pass it off on other damn people. Okay. So then she had went in the room, to speak with Rhaenyra and them, being all fake and phony, talking about some, oh, it's so high, so good to see you, or whatever the case may be. We take it for granted. It's been so long that we've been graced with your presence. And Daemon just was cutting his eyes this way, that way. He was like, whatever, girl. What you trying to come in here and with the bull crap for, right? And so, Rhaenyra saying neither one of us can know what it is, to rule or whatever, and have your expertise. And so, she's letting them know that since they left, Versy's condition has got worse. And Daemon is kind of like, no shit, Sherlock, we could see that or whatever, right? And, they were saying he's almost blind and he's suffering, so that's why he had, they have to be giving him the medications and stuff. And he was like, yeah, I'm sure it's the purest act of mercy, I'm sure it's nothing but grace. But tell me, for the king's sufferings, did the masters prescribe, the removal of a Tarragon, holiday, and put all these damn stars and statues around? Okay, so she talking about some, oh no, that's my beliefs, and we believe that the emblems of the seven serve us to guide us on the paths of the unknown and uncertain and all of this. And he was like, this is all a y'all mess or whatever, right? And so Rhaenyra asked, with what authority, okay, who will sit in authority of my judgment for my son's claim on his inheritance? And she, of course, is like her and her damn father, and they just like, that's what Daemon said. And so she gonna talk about, be assured that me and my father will be, please, child, we gonna basically be, righteous and do it the right way, and I'm not gonna use any of the things that you hurled at me in this room today. I said, Allison, if you don't get the hell out of here. So then we got Jason, Luke, they going around the grounds looking at everything, seeing where the people is sparring at, and, having their little memories from when they used to be out there when they was kids. Jason was saying that it looked smaller. Or Luke was saying that it looks smaller, and Jace pretty much was like, nah, it looks just the same. And in the meantime, we had Aemon out there, sparring with Christian, and him telling him, you doing so well, Prince. And then he looks at them like, nephews, you want to get in on this? But before they could even answer, here come Aemon raggedy behind with his men coming through to basically go and sit and talk with Alicent and Otto and get on their damn good side as best he can, to tell them that, you know, he should be the one to have Driftmark, right? And they were saying you got to think about what's right for the, you know, the realm or whatever, right? Of course, it would not be right for no little boy that don't know what to do to be able to, you know, control the seas and know what's going on. You want somebody that knows exactly what's happening, and whoever you put in command, you know, is going to be the greatest fleet in Westeros or whatever. And he was basically saying that, in other words, if they side with them, you know, with him and make him, you know, be the one in charge, he was like, it would be deeply in your debt, your grace, you know. So he over here trying to act like he making some type of damn, you know, side deals with them or whatever, right? And it's all in strength. And so, of course, her and Otto is sitting over here smirking at damn each other, right? They just make me sick. I'm sorry, y'all. They do. I can't even lie. And so Rhaenyra goes to see Rhaenyra. You know, she actually brings, you know, the other granddaughter with her, whatever, Rhea, or Rhea. Y'all know I'll be messing up these names, okay? Rhaenyra. And she was basically, you know, because Baela has been there with her, and Rhaenyra has basically still been there with, you know, Daemon and Rhaenyra. And so they speak for a minute, and then she was like, you know, can I speak to your grandmother for a minute alone? And so she stepped out the way to let them speak. And Rhaenyra's just bringing to her attention, you know, not that she needs her to, she already knows, but the whole situation, of course, with Luke and the Driftmark and all of that. And so she's like, you know, they're going to try to go against her and all of that kind of stuff, right? So she was like, you know, I want to proclaim my son legitimate. So she said, well, what you did was worse. What you did to Laenor was worse, was it not? And she's telling her, like, contrary to what you believe, I know you may not believe it, but I had nothing to do with what happened to Laenor, okay? I did not try to set him up, okay? And it's true whether you believe it or not, and I actually loved him. She was like, you know, I didn't conspire in his death, and I did not order his death. And so she basically was like, you know, nor was I complicit in it, I swear to you. And she said, you know, you've done a great job with having Baela here and teaching her all the right ways or whatever the case may be. So she was like, I want to make you an offer. Basically, she wants to have, you know, Laenor's children be, you know, betrothed. Baela will be queen of the seven kingdoms or whatever. The daughters would basically marry the sons, and it would be for her sons and their, you know what I'm saying, kids or whatever eventually. And the seat would pass to her and Luke, you know, during time. And so Rhaenyra is basically like, that's a generous offer. Child, she said, but honey, you on your own with this one, she says, or a desperate one. And, you know, Rhaenyra was saying, what does it matter? And Rhaenyra basically chuckled and was like, you might be right in this case, at least. She said, but at the end of the day, honey, they about to have you on that hot seat. You know, she said, it really doesn't matter. And she basically was like, you know, they about to go ahead and get you, girl, okay? And they are going to have you on your daggone knees. She was like, you could bargain with me or you like bring my granddaughter to me to try to get me to soften. She said, but at the end of the day, tomorrow, the high towers is going to get strike that first blow. They're going to have you on your knees, and I'm going to be standing here alone. So I said, ooh, okay. I guess that's not going to be, you know what I'm saying? You ain't getting no hope from there. So we see that Rhaenyra goes to King Xerxes, and she's just like crying to him and saying, you know, this is hard. You know, when she come in the room, he all confused. He don't even know who it is. He's calling out to Alicent, and she's saying, no, this is Rhaenyra, daddy. You know, and she's basically, well, you know, they say father. But she basically tells him, like, this is hard, okay? This weight is so freaking heavy. She was like, I don't know if you want it. She was like, do you really believe the Song of Ice and Fire to be true? And he basically, you know, it's all popped up on that damn poppy. You know, she's like, you know, he says Aegon's dream. And she's like, yes. And she was telling him, you know, you told me that it was our duty to hold the realm, you know, unified against the common foe. She was like, you know, I don't know if I want this. I don't know if I ever wanted this. She was like, by naming me the heir, you basically divided the realm. And, you know, right now this is so heavy or whatever the case may be, right? And I said, girl, he told you it was heavy. I don't know why you thought it was a daggone joke. And she was like, I thought I wanted it, but now I'm kind of second guessing that, you know, and she started tearing up and crying and stuff like that, right? And so this is really starting to become more real to her. And she was just saying this is a heavy burden. And I said, girl, she was like, it's too heavy. I said, he told you it was heavy. That's how I be. Y'all always want to think it's a joke until, y'all get up in it. And so she basically just was like, crying over him, and he all out of it, moaning and groaning and stuff like that. Poor thing. Okay, literally on his last damn leg, and she's like telling him she needs him, help her, help her, help her. And that broke my heart a little bit. I ain't even gonna lie. I'm not even gonna lie. So the next day, they here working on him. These mainsters is trying to Lord pick and prod and rub on his daggone, decaying damn body. And while they working on him, he's telling, Mr. Otto that he want to have, dinner with his family. And so Otto over here trying to be funny, like, it's morning, yeah, Grace. He was like, I mean, the whole family tonight for a dinner. Okay, I want us to have a dinner at the Red Keep. And Otto over here trying to give him more poppy, but Viserys want to stay as alert as he can. He know he on his last leg. He know he about to be out of here. He got some things he want to say to his family before he is, officially gone. So he's trying his best not to really take the poppy and to just go ahead and fight through the pain and be as alert as he can be so he could do what he got to do, okay? And so, they all down here, whatever, for the daggone, meeting to find out what the hell this damn conclusion is going to be. And here goes freaking Otto, just so happy to stand up in front, with a damn throne is. I stand and I talk for the king, and they saying that, let Vaemond say what he gotta say, because at first Rhaenyra was still trying to come in and say her little piece or whatever. And so of course, Vaemond is over here talking about for long as House Targaryen ruled, the skies or whatever the case may be, it's always been like pure blood or whatever, and that's where they gotta stay, and that he should be the one that it falls to or whatever. Every house had a house with their name, and they always had their bloodlines, their names and stuff like that. And so by putting in somebody else, if it's not him, to go inside of his brother's seat, which is he is the closest kin, and so that's what it should be or whatever, right? Because the blood runs through his veins, and the offsprings of some damn other person or whatever does not fit. Just keeping on, basically keep throwing shade, back and forth at Rhaenyra and her damn boys. And so then Rhaenyra gets up to speak when it's her turn, and before she could even speak, or when she just was starting to speak, we hearing the doors open from the back. I said, what's going on? Who's that? Who's that? Who's that? Who's that about to come through, baby? Baby, when I tell you Viserys dragged his damn half dead ass up out that bed, he said only death will keep me from here, okay? He walked his little crypt keeper behind right up through that damn crowd, put his little face mask on, okay? And was all out of breath and all tired, and just dragging himself to the daggone front to be here. He says, oh no, bitch, I'm gonna make the rulings, okay? It's gonna be me. I'm gonna sit on the throne, on the damn throne today, and it touched me so much when Daemon helps him sit in the chair, then put the crown with his head. I ain't gonna lie, y'all, that touched me, okay? That touched me. And so, Otto was talking about King, I don't know if you should. He said, no, I'm going to sit here, okay? And so when he got up there, he was like, I don't understand why this is even a discussion. Why are we having debates? Why are we having conversations? I said what I said. Corlys said what he said. I thought all of this was established, okay? So what is the confusion? Why is this being brought up again? Okay? And so he was like, the only other person that could let us know what is going on is Princess Rhaenys. So Princess Rhaenys, do you just so happen to know what your husband wanted? Baby, didn't she get up there and says, yes, King, my husband did want, okay, Luke to be in charge of Driftmark. And she says, I'm always respected when my husband said and stood by his side. And Rhaenyra actually also came to me and made a suggestion that, Baela and Raina be betrothed to Luke and Jace, which would make our houses even stronger, okay? And so Vayman sitting here looking tight, boy. He was pissed, and she let him know Corliss has never changed his mind, and I support him in everything he do. You could see freaking Otto face crumbling and Allison face crumbling. And so, Vayman looking, he pissed now. And so she was like, I wholeheartedly agree with this proposal. And so Varys was like, okay, well, that means the matter is settled. Even Aemon looked like he had a little smile on his face. I wasn't too sure what that was about, right? And so Varys says, I reaffirm that Prince, Luke is basically the heir to Driftmark. And that's that all, folks, okay? Lord of the Tides. And so here come Vayman. Oh, he was mad, baby. He gonna get up here. He gonna talk his shit. Oh, how dare you? I don't know what you think you doing. After centuries of traditions, you put your daughter on as an heir, and you expect me to listen to you, and you dare tell me what I'm supposed to do as a Valyrian? I said, you gonna get yourself killed? No, I'ma say what I gotta say. I will not allow it. Very said, you will not allow it. Allow it? I'm confused. Ain't no allow it. Don't forget yourself, Vayman. I said, you gonna get yourself killed. So he keep on talking. This is not a true Valyrian, pointing at the boys. They're no true Valyrians, and they're certainly not no damn nephews of mine. They were not Laenar's kids, and she was telling them, to go to their chambers or whatever. So Varys said, Luke is my true firstborn, my true born grandson. What you talking about? What say you? And you ain't gonna say that shit no more, right? That's the second son of Driftmark. So he says, well, you may run, Vayman says, you may run your house how you see fit, but over here, what I'm saying, we ain't playing them games, right? Child. He turned around and was like, you are not going to, decide the future of mine. And so he was like, my house survived doom. It survived thousands of tribulations. He said, and I'll be goddamned if some damn bastard is going to end up being the one to come in and take it over, whatever the case may be, right? And Daemon is just looking. He said, say it. Say it, bitch. I love how Daemon is coming out, baby. And, he was just looking for a minute. And then Vayman, he want to smile. And he was like, her children are bastards. And King Versi sat up. He said, and she is a whore. King Versi stood up and took his little knife out and said, I will cut your tongue for that. And the next thing you know, Daemon came up behind, and all you seen was a head fly. I said, yeah, bitch, I told you was going to die. And Daemon said he could keep his tongue. They was talking about disarm him. Daemon said no need. And you could see one eye Aemon over here looking because he want to be Daemon so freaking bad. Baby, I was here for every freaking minute of it. I said, that's right. Let them freaking know, bitch, okay? That's how you do that there. Enough of that, talking all that crap, okay? I never liked Vayman ass. And so, anyway, y'all, they was basically fixing up his body for him to be shipped back to Driftmark, for him to get his ass dropped in the sea, okay? That's about the only damn thing you gonna be sitting on is in that sea. And one of the maesters was basically telling Rhaenyra that she didn't need to stand there, and look at this and see, death in this way or whatever the case may be. And, the body would be returned by midday or whatever. And she just basically was like, listen, at this point, child, I done seen worse things. I done been in worse things. Because she was like, they were saying you might want to leave so the sisters could do their work. You might not want to face death. She said, I done faced it. I done been there and did that more times than I can count. Okay, so at this point, it don't make a damn difference. So now, we had... I'm trying to remember who the heck was next, y'all, because I'm going to keep it real with y'all. I was so into this episode that I didn't even take as much notes that I usually do. So then we had the dinner, y'all, right? They finally come down. They all sit around for this dinner, whatever. King V ain't playing. I'm telling you, he making his rounds. He know he about to be out of here. So he want to have this last supper, okay, with his family. Everybody is around the table. And he basically stands up and he make a toast. He give this speech. He take that damn mask off his face, y'all, and the whole side was gone. The eyes, no eyeball there. I said, whoo, child. He said, nah, we ain't gonna paint it up and put a mask on and make shit look pretty. He said, at the end of the day, you know, this is great. It makes me happy and sad at the same time to have all my family around. It's been so long that we haven't been around together. And he was like, to hear that Bayla and Raina is going to marry Luke and Jace, you know, puts a smile on our face. This is a bond that's going to strengthen our families or whatever have you. And, you know, I want to have a toast to them or whatever the case may be. But he was like, all this fighting and destruction and, you know what I'm saying, lies and deceit. Nah, this got to stop. He was like, see me as I am. Look at me as I am, as your father, as your brother, as your husband. And know the things that I went through and I sacrificed and what I've been wanting. And if you can't do it and get it together for no other reason, baby, okay, do it for me. Now, in the meantime, you still got freaking, you know, Eamon acting like a jack behind around the damn table. I don't know why he looks so damn old and rough, child. And, you know, what's his name was ready to, Luke was ready to get in his daggone behind. And then they had to be like, you know, just stop, chill, whatever, right? I mean, Jace. And he sat back down because he kept saying things and trying to throw words and act like he was going to, you know, try to see if he could get with Bayla and different bull crap or whatever. And they just kept saying, like, don't pay it no mind. And, of course, the younger kids can't really get it, what the king is really expressing fully to the full extent, the way Rhaenyra and, you know, Alicent and them can. And so when the king sits down for making his speech, even Rhaenyra stands up and is like, you know what? One thing I can say is that throughout all these years of my father being sick and everything like that, I left and I was away. But I can say that, Alicent, you have stayed here and you took care of my father. And I thank you for that. And then Alicent ends up saying, you know, thank you very much, you know, for saying that. That means a lot to me. And so it was like a little bit of, you know, sensitivity and a little bit of sweetness for a minute, even though we know that it was not gonna last, you know. And then Jay stands up and he gives a toast saying, you know, it's been so many years and I wish my family and my uncles, you know, good health or whatever. And he ends up, because even damn Helena stood up for a minute and was like, you know, a toast to the family and was singing a toast to my husband, even though he not really good for nothing and he ain't talking about nothing except for sometimes when he get drunk. I said, Lord. And everybody had kind of started laughing about it. And then he gets up and he ends up asking Helena for a dance. So it was like, you got him and Helena dancing. You got some of the other ones talking and laughing around the table. And you just seeing Viserys looking around and having that little moment of peace of seeing his family happy for this one last time, right? You already know it's going to be the one last time and that's going to be that, right? And so here come Alicent, you know. Well, actually, the kids end up getting into it, of course. It couldn't last, you know. As soon as it got to be too much for Versus, King Versus. He was up too long. And they had told, you know, the men to go ahead and take him up to bed. Here go the kids getting into it, ready to start fighting because, you know, Aemon wanted to make this damn speech and, you know, keep saying, y'all strong boys, right? Y'all look so strong and whatever. But we know what he was really trying to say. So, of course, they start fighting back and forth and they was breaking it up. And Rhaenyra just ends up telling her kids to go ahead to bed. And she tells Alicent, you know, I just think we're going to leave. We're going to go back to Dragonstone. And she was like, no, I really wish you would stay. She said, well, I'll tell you what. I'll take the kids home and I'll come back. I said, Rhaenyra, when you do that, your daddy ain't going to be back. He ain't going to be alive, girl. When you come back, your daddy going to be dead as a damn doornail, girl. Right? So she says she's going to ride back on Dragonback. So we see Viserys in this damn bed and we see her giving him some more of this damn poppy and whatever else she got in that damn cup to drink. And so obviously he high and he out of it and he in pain or whatever. And he starts talking about the damn freaking Ice and Fire and Princess Promise, and she's saying, oh, I don't understand. He over here apologizing, because at first when he was apologizing, I thought he knew that he was talking to Allison or whatever, right? And she's telling him, shush, 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 it'll be okay. We also seen that a messenger was coming over to Mysaria to let her know what's going on. She still got eyes and ears going on in the Red Keep, and making sure what's happening too on the back end. And so here go Viserys thinking that he's continuing the conversation that he was having with Rhaenyra from the night before. I said no. And she's like, the Princess Promise? Aegon? You mean Aegon? And sure enough, she's talking about some, I understand. And I'm sure me and every damn body else that's watching is like, no, you don't understand, bitch. He ain't talking about your damn Aegon, and he ain't saying he's the damn Princess Promise, okay? So she go ahead and ends up, telling him that she understand what he's saying. And, child, she get up to walk away, and we just basically end up seeing, Prince Viserys say, my love, he is finally with his Amina, okay? And he is finally gone. He is finally out of his misery, y'all. May he rest in peace, okay? King V, you was a real one. You was a real one, damn it. That was the episode, y'all. Put it in the comments. Tell me what you thought about this one and what the heck you think gonna happen next. I got on my black, number one, because we had to say R.I.P. The funeral is gonna be next. And number two, because I'm team black, baby. Black all day. What team y'all on? What y'all think gonna go down? Of course, this is it. Let the games begin. Let the war begin. It's gonna be on and popping. Let's discuss. Like, comment, share, subscribe. If you were so inclined, give me a wave. Let me know you came by. Put some flings up in the sky. All right, y'all. Till next time. Toodaloo.